President Donald Trump has been claiming that the US military action against Venezuela was part of its war on drugs and designed to topple a brutal dictatorial regime. But many are now asking, was it always about oil? Soon after the strikes on Caracas and capture of President Nicolás Maduro and his wife, Trump declared that the US would take control of Venezuela's massive oil reserves and recruit American companies to invest billions of dollars to refurbish the country's gutted oil industry. Venezuela is sitting on a massive 303 billion barrels worth of crude, about a fifth of the world's global reserves. That trove of crude oil will play a central role in the country's future. Trump has said the US would operate the Venezuelan government for the time being. At a news conference at Mar-a-Lago, he said, "We are going to have our very large United States oil companies, the biggest anywhere in the world, go in, spend billions of dollars, fix the badly broken infrastructure, the oil infrastructure."
2 weeks, what do you need from Delcy Rodriguez? You've threatened Delcy.
Total access. We need total access. We need access to the oil and to other things in their country that allow us to rebuild their country.
What other things?
A lot of things. Roads that aren't built, bridges that are falling down. Yeah, bridges that are falling down, nobody can go anywhere.
Venezuela leads all countries, as we said, with 303 billion barrels of proven crude oil reserves, outnumbering Saudi Arabia and representing almost 20% of global reserves in 2023. A US-led revamp could eventually make Venezuela a much bigger supplier of oil and could create opportunities for Western oil companies and could serve as a new source of production. It could also keep broader prices in check, although lower prices might disincentivize some US companies from producing oil. Even if international access were fully restored tomorrow, it could take years and incredible expense to bring Venezuelan oil production fully back online. Venezuelan state-owned oil and natural gas company PDVSA says its pipelines haven't been updated in 50 years, and the cost to update the infrastructure to return to peak production levels would cost $58 billion. Venezuela is home to the largest proven oil reserves on earth, but its potential far outweighs its actual output. Venezuela produces only about 1 million barrels of oil per day, about 0.8% of global crude production. That's less than half of what it produced before Maduro took control of the country in 2013 and less than a third of the 3.5 million barrels it was pumping before the socialist regime took over. International sanctions on the Venezuelan government and a deep economic crisis contributed to the decline of the country's oil industry, but so did a lack of investment and maintenance. Venezuela's energy infrastructure is deteriorating and its capacity to produce oil has been greatly diminished over the years. Oil prices have been in check this year because of oversupply fears. OPEC has ramped up production, but demand has fallen off a bit as the global economy continues to struggle with inflation and affordability after the post-pandemic price shock. US oil briefly rose above $60 a barrel when the Trump administration began seizing oil from Venezuelan vessels, but it has since fallen to $57 a barrel again. The kind of oil Venezuela is sitting on, heavy, sour crude, requires special equipment and a high level of technical prowess to produce. International oil companies have the capability to extract and refine it, but they have been restricted from doing business in the country. The United States, the world's largest oil producer, has light, sweet crude, which is good for making gasoline, but not much else. Heavy, sour crude, like the oil from Venezuela, is crucial for certain products made in the refining process, including diesel, asphalt, and fuels for factories and other heavy equipment. Diesel is in tight supply around the world, in large part because of sanctions on Venezuelan oil. Unlocking Venezuelan oil could be particularly beneficial to the United States. Venezuela is nearby and its oil is relatively cheap, a result of its sticky, sludgy texture that requires significant refining. Most US refineries were constructed to process Venezuela's heavy oil, and they are significantly more efficient when they are using Venezuelan oil compared to American oil, say experts. Trump called Venezuela's oil business a total bust. They were pumping almost nothing by comparison to what they could have been pumping and what could have taken place, he said. We are going to have our very large United States oil companies, the biggest anywhere in the world, go in, spend billions of dollars, fix the badly broken infrastructure, the oil infrastructure, and start making money for the country, he added. So, was it ever about drugs or toppling a brutal dictator, or was it always about oil?